Hi there. Welcome to the Alcohol Free Lifestyle Podcast. This is Sarah, one of the coaches in the Project 90 program. Our episode today is featuring a wonderful gentleman from Australia who has recently graduated the Project 90 program. I've had the fortune to work with Ned over his 90 days. He's been an extraordinary participant in our program and has a wonderful story to share today. So I'd like to welcome Ned. Ned, could you give us a quick intro into who you are, where you're from?
Sure, Sarah. Thank you for that. My name is Ned, and I am from Oz, from Queensland, specifically in a place near Bundaberg, famous for rum. And I am 50 years old, or 51 I just turned, and I am in retail. So I work for a company called Aldi, and I manage that store at times, and it's quite hectic and full on and stressful. So that's where I was at.
Okay. And Ned, do you have children?
Yeah, so I've got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, two girls, who keep me quite accountable in fatherhood and teach me a lot. But yeah, they're going from 8 to 18.
Yes, I hear that about girls. I have two boys, so it's a totally different experience.
100%. And yeah, they see everything. Even when you think they're not seeing stuff, they're seeing everything. So it's interesting.
Yes, definitely. And Ned, so about 110 days ago, you joined the Project 90 program with a goal of removing alcohol for 90 days. So I wonder if you'd be willing to share with the listeners what prompted you to join this program in the first place.
I was fed up. Like I attempted to moderate for so many years, and I guess the catalyst was unfortunately for a lot of people and myself, it has to be something extreme that happens for you to make the decision. And for me, it was going through a separation. And I went through a separation and I hit rock bottom during that separation where, the ex and the children, were no longer living with me, unfortunately. And, so coming home to an empty house without singing voices, screwed me up, really. So I wasn't really, in my marriage, I wasn't really a big drinker. I was probably drinking, we'd have date night once a week and we'd have, a couple of bottles of red and all that sort of stuff. But it was during this separation that, the alcohol escalated, and being a lone wolf and hiding it from everyone. I was a functioning alcoholic. I was doing quite well at work, but I was a functioning alcoholic. I think that's what they call it. I was making notes, and I'm a big journaler, and I was writing down the days that I was drinking and the chains of days that I would have where I would drink and the chains of days that I didn't. And it became more and more and more where I would drink 15, 20, 25 days in a row, right? And this was getting ridiculous, So, in the last couple of years, I was just, always, trying to or attempting to give up just for a time, and I did it for a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there. And then it got to the end of 2022. The separation started in 2020 with COVID. And that was a trip, going through COVID and then going through separation and having to sell your ideal home and all that. But yeah, basically just went through 2022 and it was just getting worse. And I thought, no, I'm going to do something about it. My girls are getting older, they're going to be, I always think of them, and my job is to raise them, is to raise them to be really good, healthy kids. How can I do that if I'm drinking all the time? Anyway, 2023, I made the decision. I was fed up. I tried doing it on my own. I did it for 11 days. And then James reached out and said, look, just try it, man. You've tried it on your own, just try it. And I thought, I resonated with his message, what he had to say, and I just jumped in, and it was a really awesome decision.
And if you can remember, when you first signed up for the program, did you feel that it was going to be possible for you to do 90 days, or were you just like, I'll just have a go and see what happens?
Look, I didn't know. Like, the analogy that I was using in my head was like, I'm in a dark forest, I'm in a really dark place, but I've got some lights on now. And if I just keep walking, keep taking a couple of steps, then the next part of the trail in the dark forest will reveal itself. And I just took it day by day, to tell you the truth. I didn't know. But the thing is that I learned a lot about myself through that journey. And one thing I learned about myself early on with the pod was that, I gave up on myself so many times, but I won't give up on, the other people that were in my group, because they were suffering and I wanted to support them. So it was a genius stroke to have a Marco Polo pod, because, I gave up on myself so many times, but I didn't want to give up on them. So I just, I just did it for them, and that was my initial sort of strategy.
So share with the listeners, Ned, your experience when you joined Project 90 and you were allocated into what you've just called a pod in Marco Polo. Now, a lot of listeners might not know what that is, so I'd love you to try and explain what it was like from your experience being put into a pod with a group of strangers.
Yeah, it's I think there was about over 100, and could be wrong, but there was like 140 people. And so what James did is he made pods of like 25 groups. So we were in pod 2, and there must have been 6 or 7 or 8 pods, I'm not sure, maybe 9. Anyway, so I'm in this, I load up this platform. I'm not really techie. I load up this platform on my phones, and I was advised to go on this app called Marco Polo, and there's going to be 25 other people in the group, and you just want to talk about your stories and how you're going from day to day and everything like that. And these were 24 different strangers. All of them, there was not one Aussie in my pod. I was the only Australian. So it was like, wow, this is going to be interesting. Got all these Yanks, and I love them. I love Yanks. They're cool, but this is going to be really interesting and all that. So essentially, it was just keeping accountable. It was, a lot of the time, me having to tell my darkest secrets to my parents. Couldn't do that. But to a stranger that's 10,000 miles away, easy. So the pod was awesome because it was just a group of 25, and we could talk and chat as much as we wanted, or as whatever. When we got triggered, we used it. So you would just press a button, you record and tell people how you were feeling. And that was amazing. I used it. I would come home and I get triggered at 6 o'clock at night after work. And I turn my Marco Polo on my phone and show people I was opening up my fridge and grabbing mineral water and having a drink. And that made me feel better. But I used it initially for the time that I got really triggered, and it was awesome. And then you heard other people's stories, and it was very therapeutic for me for hearing other people's stories. And guess what? We're very similar. I think I was the only one. Oh my God, I got this unique thing, like I'm drinking, and it's like, oh my God, it's like I'm this person, and I'm disgusted with myself. But guess what? There's a lot of other people doing it, and it didn't make me feel so bad.
Yeah, I think that's a really key point that you raise, is like normalizing the experience, because there are so many of us who, it's nothing to do with your socioeconomic background or how intelligent you are. It really is just about people that have fallen into a trap of drinking a highly addictive substance. And when you realize that we're all the same and we're all fallible, then it takes a lot of the shame out of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You realize that, there's a lot of people suffering, and the people in the pod, probably 1% of 1% of the population, actually put up their hand and are courageous enough to, to do it. And that's what made me realize about myself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's a group of incredibly courageous people, and people that have the courage to face something that is, essentially judged by society. But I really feel like that's changing, as more and more people realize how much damage the substance is doing, not only to them, but to their children, their families, etc. So my next question for you is, you're in Project 90 now and you've kicked off. What was it like in the first month? Because that tends to be the time where people get very excited because finally they see there's a possibility. Was it like that for you?
I was excited. I was excited because I was doing it with, essentially like 100 and something other people, and I was going to be coached, and there was a lot of accountability. There was like four or five calls a week, and I was averaging probably 3, 4, sometimes 5 calls a week, and I was getting all this coaching, and it was feeding my mind. And I replaced my dopamine hit that I was receiving from alcohol with like-minded people and the coaching staff that had all this knowledge. And I was really excited about that because I was learning about myself. And yeah, the sleeping for me didn't really come until later on in the program. But health-wise, I was feeling good. My skin was looking good. I was more energetic than what I normally am, but a good energetic, not just a pretend energetic where I have to be. And yeah, I was really excited because, yeah, the initial couple of weeks is really difficult because of the triggers are so strong. The desire for me was really strong, and I had to just sit with that emotion, and that was tough. Thing is that the support network was there for the first time, and I had structure. Before, I didn't have any structure. So I was very excited about the makeup of the whole thing, the way it was designed with the coaching and the Marco Polo and the accelerators and the emails and the videos. There was a lot going on, and that's good. You're busy, but you're a good busy, and it was really supportive.
Fantastic. And so moving through the program, did you ever have any challenges that you experienced in Project 90?
Every day. Every single day. The thing was, right, Sarah, is that I created this issue, this problem, this obstacle, right? So I was figuring out, how can I uncreate it? If I can create something, I can uncreate it. So that's what I was trying to figure it out, So I was having, I didn't have any withdrawals or anything like that. It was more so for me, it was emotional. And when I had a really stressful situation, I would think about the alcohol. And this was happening all the way through the first half and also the second half, but it wasn't as bad. And just dealing with the noise, with the self-talk over and over and over again. I would have to keep watching my thoughts. And because I'm doing that consciously, it takes effort. So it was challenging because you still got to lead your life and do what you have to do in your life. But yeah, I had challenges all the time. Obviously with the sugar cravings, you would delve into other things like whatever your whatever your food was. Mine was all different types of foods, but it was a challenge. But the thing was that I was on this trek, and I wasn't trekking on my own. I had a guide, and I just kept on believing the process and just kept showing up to the coaching calls and just keep doing the Marco Polos. I thought, I've got those two things, and keep watching the videos, and I've got that as well. Keep doing that, then it'll pass. I just got to keep going.
Which you did admirably, even turning up at 2 a.m. calls from which is true dedication.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. So Ned, and just again for the listeners, I just want to qualify that we don't do a lot of calls at 2 a.m. It's because we're in Australia that some of the calls landed at difficult times. But what would you say, Ned, if you could, we've talked about the community, which gave you the accountability in the coaching. What were some real standout moments for you in terms of your awareness about yourself, and how you, or tools or tips that you learn about how to keep going and how to keep focused on the goal of creating an alcohol-free life?
The first one was my emotional management. Just these waves of negative self-talk would come, and then what I did initially, what I would do normally before P90 is I would suppress them with alcohol. Now that alcohol is out of the picture, I needed another strategy. So my strategy was, and this is what I was taught with my emotions, is that you bring them to the light rather than keeping them in the dark. And so I would acknowledge how I was feeling to myself, and then I would take a couple of breaths, and then I would say to myself a couple of affirmations, and just say, look, I'm human. I'm going through some stuff. This is normal. This is what it feels like to be human. And the emotion, we were taught that it sits chemistry-wise in your body for a certain amount of time. And that was really amazing to know, and just to sit with it. And it's hard the first time, the 25th time, right? But it's all repetition, and that's what it was. And now I just do it, and I do it every day now, right? With all sorts of things. So that was the first one, the emotional management for me, learning. So emotional management was an amazing tool that I learned and I applied every day. It really did solve one of the puzzles that I had in my mind about how I was going to do this. That was incredible. The other tools, I guess, was I was figuring out as well that this was not only teaching me about alcohol-free lifestyle, but it was also teaching me about my life, and the tools that I could apply all of these tools that I was learning to my life. And some of the things that I was implementing, was the journaling and writing down about my thoughts and my feelings. And again, what I was going through, I know physically, you used to go to the bottle shop and you used to drink and it makes you feel a certain physical way. Like most of it was all invisible, like the work that I was doing. It was like, writing things down and doing the gratitude work and writing down the 20 things that I'm grateful for every single morning, for my health, like giving myself a second chance with this body, giving myself a second chance with this mind, giving myself a second chance with my children. Holy Toledo, like that's massive, and I'm so grateful for that, so the journaling was also massive for me, just writing things down and getting it out. and also I was just, I treated it like a 90-day seminar. Like, when was the last time I got to spend this much time on myself? And just that in general, and having that bubble around me. I used that as a tool as well. Like, it was unbreakable. I couldn't, I didn't have anything coming in. Yes, I had things coming in, but I could deflect them away because of all the, the tools that I had. So yeah, so many little insights.
Yeah. And so now that so we got through 90 days, you managed to really power through 90 days. And well, it seemed like that from my perspective.
The Academy Award goes to, yeah. I mean, look, I did, like, I was real. Like, I was always real with the guys on Marco Polo and in the coaching as well. I was very real, and I learned how to cry again, because, if the emotions don't go and if you're not emotional and the tears end up ending up in your liver or in your organs somewhere that are going to suffer if you don't let it out, right? But yeah, I did. It was really difficult and it was really hard, but because of the support, it was, it made it a lot more easier. But yeah, it was. I think I know what you're going to ask, but I'll let you ask it anyway.
Oh gosh, I don't know. What do you think I'm going to ask?
Still going. I'm still alcohol free. I gave myself another 90 days. That's the way that I'm going to do it. That's the way that I'm going to eat this elephant. Is I just give myself another 90 days, and just the recipe or the strategy, success strategy for me was to, like, P90 showed me, okay, you're learning about yourself, Ned. This is a really good thing. And if you keep learning about yourself and how you operate and how you work and all about triggers and, what turns you on and what's your compelling reason, what's your commitment, how to build resilience and all these things that I got taught, I applied that and I said, right, I'm going to use all that, everything that I've learned for the next 90 days. And that's what I'm doing. And yeah, it's cool. So I'm just keeping busy, and continuing on. And, I've got bigger fish to fry.
100%. Now, one of the things that I believe is quite different about Project 90 and James's methodology is focusing not on what we're giving up, but on what we're gaining by removing alcohol. So my next question is, what benefits have you seen in your life since you've removed alcohol?
Waking up in the morning and not, belittling myself, or just, just basically saying, what have you done, Ned? Again, you just, imagine starting that. And that's just what I was doing. I was starting the day and I was just belittling myself every single morning, starting the day, just this little thing. And I'm just feeling so proud that I'm doing it and I did it. That's huge for me, because that sets the sail for the rest of my day. So they're the benefits there. Physically, I didn't really lose a whole bunch of weight, but I lost a whole bunch of inflammation. Like, I took a photo on day one and then I took a photo in the middle, and now I'm taking photos at the end, and the inflammation's obviously gone down in my face. I'm thinking more clearly, and I am setting goals, and rather than being in a holding pattern, I'm able now to set goals and strive for those goals, because I'm not, I don't have that ball and chain of something controlling me anymore, and that's massive as well. So yeah, the benefits, and that has a ripple effect. I believe in life, everything affects everything. And if I, being the old Ned, which was the old, drinker, now that I'm alcohol free, it just affects my relationship. My relationship with my children is amazing. Like, it is challenging, but I work through the challenges a lot better now and a lot more calmer state. My relationship with, you know, my parents is really good, because they had a massive effect on my conditioning as a growing up child and watching my father drink every single day. But the relationship with myself is so much more harmonious and peaceful. And that I sort of, you know, I sort of, well, I don't sort of, I do, you know, project that out to the world, and then I get that coming back. So that's the biggest benefit I've seen, you know, just my projection of who I am to the world is coming back, and things are showing up every single day now. I actually notice things in life now, you know, like things like before, when you've got your, you know, your beer goggles on, not that I drank beer, but when you got them on, it's really hard to see what life's all about. But taking them off and having a clear lens, you know, there's opportunity everywhere. You just got to, you know, reframe it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so oftentimes people talk about this when they quit alcohol, they remember who they are again. Would you say that was the case for you? Because you talked about, you know, really starting to reconnect with yourself and like yourself. And one of the things that I find really rewarding when I work with people is that sense that people are really just coming back to who they really are. Would you say that was the case for you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't received a whole bunch of feedback from many people, but yeah, I can tell that my relationships have changed with specific people in my life. So, and because that's the case, and these people have known me for a long time, I've reconnected with them a lot better. And that's because I've reconnected with myself on my own. I am myself. I'm not hiding. I'm not feeling negative. I'm just living life, you know, rather than surviving.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I feel like I am myself again. And it's a really hard thing to sort of, I know it's subjective and it's a really hard thing to sort of quantify, but it just feel like me again. You know, I'm not controlled by anything, which is really, it's an amazing feeling, not being controlled by anything. You know, it's just, it's freedom, you
It's
know.
freedom. Yeah, it's total freedom.
Yeah.
So on that note, Ned, if anyone's listening now that is in that stage of contemplation, which is where people are kind of, yeah, maybe I should really look at this. What words of encouragement do you have for those people?
It's, well, like I said right from the beginning, I had to wait for a broken down marriage for me to do this. And I truly believe that I did it before. If I did it before the marriage, then I'd still have a marriage. And not that it was the alcohol, but it was, you know, we were distancing quite quickly, but the alcohol didn't help. So to anyone that's listening, don't wait for anything major to happen in your life that doesn't need to happen. You don't need to go through extra pain. Unfortunately, people just take a really relaxed approach to it and go, oh, I'll do it. You know, I'll put it on my to-do list and everything like that. It needs to be a priority. It's number one. You know why? Because you got one body, you've got certain relationships, and you know you're living your life and you're doing your job or your business or whatever. And if you're not right inside, if you're not doing the things for yourself, you know, empowering yourself and doing things inside of you that need to be done and growing, then you're dying. And if you're dying around your family, around your business, around your job, around everything. And you know, if that's the way that you want to live, fine. But you know, it's such an amazing part. P90 the way that the support was set up, anyone can do it. It's just, you just got to decide. And like I said, you just got to figure out, okay, let me just do one day at a time. And guess what? It turns into 10, and then it turns into 12, and then it turns into 15, and then it turns into 30. And you go, holy Toledo, man, this is amazing. You know, but if you just take it one day at a time, it can happen. But yeah, there's no time like now. If you want to do it and you feel like you've been, you know, people who are listening to this are searching for something. And guess what? You just found it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Thanks, Ned.
That's all right.
It really is, as you said, making the decision. It's like you just have to make the decision and commit, right?
It's like Hollywood portrays it. You know, you see Michael Jordan, right, or whoever, the greatest basketball player of all time, and he's, you know, won six finals and everything like that. It's like, wow, he's amazing. But no one sees him at 3 o'clock in the morning training. No one sees him. Not many people know this, but he missed more shots than anyone else on the planet. But he's the best basketball player ever. Like, you got to go through, and that's what life's like. Life's not just all, you know, unicorns and rainbows. There's going to be times where it's going to be hard and difficult. But I tell you what, it's so much better when you live it on your terms. And that's the thing. Do you want to live it on alcohol's terms, or do you want to live life on your terms? Do you want to be controlled by something else, or do you want to have complete control? If you just want to keep drinking for the bad reasons, then just keep doing it and be controlled by something else. You know, and don't whinge to people about, oh, you know, I don't have this in my life. Take control, and then you'll start getting things in your life. You know, so, you know, it's just insane. Like, if you want to do it and you want control in your life, just do it. Simple. Just do it today.
Just do it, like Nike tells us.
Exactly. It is easy, but you know what? We make it complicated. It's easy. Sorry, I should say it's simple, but at times, yeah, it's hard, you know, but it's really simple to do. Okay. You just got to decide, you know, and say, this is it. I'm doing it.
Get it done. That's what I said to myself. Get the job done, whatever it takes.
Yes. When it's really, really painful, that's when I did it. And I wish I did it. And it was so like, oh man, I've got to do it. You know, it's really, really painful, you know, but you don't have to wait for the pain. You can do it now.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Ned. That was some tough love there from our P90 graduate. And I think we need to give ourselves a bit of tough love at times. I think that if we really want things in life, if we really want the freedom that you're talking about, we have to have the courage to just make a decision. And nothing in life that is really, really powerful tends to be easy. So
what you guys taught us. You taught us about how we've been programmed, you know, and our mind wants to just to keep us safe. You know, that's what our mind wants to do. It just wants to keep us safe. You know, so us stepping out of our comfort zone and saying, right, I'm not going to do this activity anymore. Our subconscious mind goes, oh, holy Toledo, man, what? We're not going to be doing this anymore. But this was saving my life. Alcohol was saving my life. Guess what? It wasn't. It wasn't before. Why is it now? Because you feel like you need to do it because you're going to die if you don't have it. No, you're not going to die. It's going to be okay. You just got to rewire your brain again. And that's what you guys, the coaches, did. You know, you showed us that our brain can be rewired from what it was to the natural way of being. So yeah.
It's such a pleasure to see and talk to you, Ned, about this. I have one last question for you, which is, well, you've shared that you're going to do another 90 days, which is amazing. How else has life changed for you? What plans do you have for the future?
Well, this is the thing, Sarah, right? when you stop procrastinating, and this is what any substance does, it stops you from leading the life that you really want to lead, because you always got to think about, oh, where's the bottle shop? Or, can I drink now because I, I've got the kids, or what time is it? Or, it just takes up so much of your time. Now that I don't have that, I've got all this other time. So I've set goals, and I've set big goals. And one of those goals is, not to do retail anymore. I'm very good at it, but I've got a lot of love to give. So I am going to be a coach.
Wow, that's extraordinary. Well
And why
done.
not? And why not? Like, this is something that I've been searching for the last 20 years, and I've delved into all sorts of things like hypnotherapy and all that. And I'm fascinated about the mind and how it works. And me going through this process, going through this process, which is teaching me not just about, about my mind, but about life skills. I've got all this knowledge to impart, and I feel my responsibility to share this with, people around the world and in Australia. So that's what I want to do. And it feels really good. It feels really scary, and I'm feeling fear in doing it anyway. But that's my next 90 days. I've just been studying and just been focusing on, my skill set, and then I can, help other people that want to be helped, because I see it everywhere now. People just want help, and some of them don't even know it. So yeah, but that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm doing, and it feels right. It just feels right for me to do it, not for everyone, but for me, it just feels right to impart some experience and some knowledge. And if I can help one person, then great. It'll hopefully create a ripple effect.
Well, I think you already are creating a ripple effect, Ned. So, I mean, this is an extraordinary tale. A retail, someone working in retail with, a decent job and beautiful kids, a broken marriage, who comes into a program and 90 days later is completely changing his trajectory of his life as a result of removing alcohol and doing the work. And when you think about it, that's an extraordinary change in just 3 months. And for you, knowing you and having worked with you, it's a testament to your commitment to personal growth. And so I want to really commend you for that, and thank you for coming on and sharing that with the audience today.
That's cool. That's cool. It's my pleasure. It was awesome being in the program. I learned so much, so many insights. And I was just talking to a dear friend of mine the other day about it. And the amount of insights and the amount of learnings that I had about myself that I was sort of mentioning to my dear friend, they were just pouring out of me. It was amazing. And, and it just was done brick by brick, day by day. And I'm so grateful for doing the P90, and it was a really awesome experience. And the trajectory doesn't have to change that much, only 1 or 2 degrees, but in like a year's time, who knows where that'll end up. So I'm excited about the future. So yeah, thanks for having me on, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Ned. And I'm excited about your future too. So hopefully we'll keep in touch. Maybe we'll bring you back in a year's time, because this is really just the beginning. This is really, the 90 days is just the beginning, and it creates a whole new possibility for where we go from there. So thank you very much for sharing. Lovely to have you. Lovely to see you again.
Cheers.
And thank you for tuning in. This is Sarah for the Alcohol Free Lifestyle Podcast. All the information that you need for Project 90 and the programs that we offer will be in the text below this podcast. Thanks for joining us and see you next time.